Hola, ¿qué tal? Yo soy la profesora Zapata, and welcome back to my channel. Today's video will be focusing on conjugations and technical names, conjugaciones. So this is a grammar video. Let's get started. Conjugaciones, conjugations. All verbs are conjugated for basically two main reasons. Number one, to indicate the time or tense of when the action takes place, and to indicate who is the person doing the action. If you are looking at this and you are not understanding what it is, that means you skipped the pronombres personales video and you should definitely go check that out and then come back here. This is tabla de conjugación. Whenever you are looking at a conjugation or you're learning the conjugations, it's always good to keep an order. This is an order of a conjugation table. Tabla de conjugación. Every time you look at the left side of your screen, it's going to be the singular personal pronouns. When you look at the right, it's going to be all the plural pronouns. Now, this order, it will really help you to learn any grammar related things in the future. So make sure that you know where the yo is located, the tú, usted, él, ella, nosotros, nosotras, vosotros, vosotras, ustedes, ellos, ellas. Not only the placement, but also what they mean. Okay, so these are endings of verbs. In Spanish, we call them fines de verbos. It also has other fancy names, but we don't really need to know that right now. We can just call them fines de verbos, endings of verbs. In Spanish, there are only three of them. AR, ER, IR. That's it. No OR, no UR. That way you can recognize most of these most of the time. Okay. One example of an AR ending verb is amar, which means to love. And if you see, the little circle indicates the AR at the end. It's only highlighting fin de verbo, the ending. An example of ER is comer, which means to eat. And an example of an IR ending verb is vivir, to live. Now, whatever is not the end of the verb, meaning it's not AR, it's not ER, and it's not IR, we call that the stem. Or in Spanish, we say raíz del verbo. That is the stem. And whenever you see a verb in its unconjugated form, we call that an unconjugated verb form, or also we can say infinitive form. So therefore, amar, comer, and vivir are not conjugated on this slide, so we are going to say these are infinitive verbs, verbos infinitivos. Okay, keep in mind that the verbs we're going to be using here are all regular verbs. Regular. I know, we have tons. We have stem changes, regulars, irregulars. You name them, we have them. We're focusing only on the easiest ones on this video. Conjugaciones de verbos regulares. So let's take those verbs we just saw. Amar, comer, vivir. Amar. Again, remember that order I told you before? When I write out the conjugations for amar, the stem of amar is am. So you see it written out throughout the all 6 conjugations. And then what I add to it is the conjugation of that verb for each of the personal pronouns. Amo, amas, ama, amamos, amáis, aman. And that's it. Anytime you're conjugating regular verbs, just regular verbs that end in AR, you carry the stem throughout the 6 conjugations, and then you add o, as, a, amos, ais, an. Ejemplos. Yo amo el deporte. Número 2. Amo el deporte. These both translate to I love sports. Now notice how the first one has the personal pronoun with it, and the second one does not have it. It's okay to omit the actual personal pronoun because we've talked about this in other videos. Most of the conjugations do not share a conjugation with other personal pronouns. Only the third person in the singular and the third person in the plural. You'll see it when I use the examples on vivir. The next one is comer. Comer again is an ER ending verb. It is regular and it means to eat. The stem of that verb, la raíz, is C-O-M. C-O-M. I write that all through my 6 conjugations, and then I add the endings or the actual conjugation of the verb, which is o-es-e, hemos, eis, en. Notice where there's an accent mark, you want to make sure you carry that. Ejemplos. Tú comes frutas. Número 2, comes frutas. They both translate to you eat fruits. Now, make sure that you again know that the tú doesn't share conjugation with other pronouns. So I can omit the pronoun like I did in the number 2 example and still know that the tú is the person talking. The last one is vivir. Vivir means to live. The raíz or the stem is B corta y B corta, or VIV. I write that all throughout my 6 conjugations and then add the endings or conjugations of the IR ending verbs. O es e, imos is en. Ella vive en Dubai. Usted vive en Dubai. Notice how in these 2 examples, the conjugation is the same. Why? Because they're both on that third person conjugation of the personal pronouns and they share it, right? Remember, usted, él, ella, they all share the same conjugation. So I need to state who is the person talking or who is the person we're talking about. These translate to she lives in Dubai, and the second one, you live in Dubai. That usted, remember, is the formal one. Here we see 3 other regular verbs, verbos regulares. They are the verbs that maintain their stem, meaning la raíz does not change. Does not change. You carry the same stem all throughout the 6 conjugations. So these are estudiar, beber, partir. You can stop the video and read through them on your own. That way you are practicing as well. I'm just going to go through the conjugations. Estudio, estudias, estudia. Estudiamos, estudiáis, estudian. Which means to study, right? The next one, beber, means to drink. Bebo, bebes, bebe. Bebemos, bebéis, beben. Notice how the word bebe, he, she, or you formal drink, does not have an accent mark. Don't confuse that with the word bebe, which has an accent mark. It looks exactly the same except that it has an accent mark, and that means baby. That's a different thing. I just wanted to point that out to you. So the word is bebe. Move on to the last one, partir. Partir means to divide, but in some contexts, it also means to leave, like to leave a room or to leave a place. In this context that I'm using it as to cut or to divide. Parto, partes, parte, partimos, partís, parten. And then you have some examples. Okay, so we've made it. We've made it to the last part of the video. Tiempos verbales. We call those tenses. Presente, presente progresivo, futuro, condicional, pretérito, imperfecto, pluscuamperfecto, presente perfecto, and you're like, what is all that? It's some, not all, I know, not all, the tenses that we have. And so that's just a timeline showing you an example of some tenses that we might see in other videos in the future. Present, present progressive, future, conditional, preterite, imperfect, pluperfect, and present perfect. Again, those are not all of our tiempos verbales. They're just some of the ones we might cover. Okay, so that's the end of our video. I hope that you've enjoyed, that you are learning along with me, and don't give up. I know it's a lot of grammar, but you got this. As always, practice makes perfect. Watch the video more than once. Practice on your own. Ask questions, and if you have suggestions, just email me, laprofesorazapata@gmail.com. I will be happy to interact with you, make a video of your suggestion, and answer any questions you may have. Muchas gracias y chao, chao.